Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, so today's video is going to be about color management and the exact settings that I use when I'm color managing my project to output any format of file from Rec 709, BRAW, or CLOG3 into Rec 709. So let's jump into Davinci Resolve and we'll take a look at color managing our project within the color page using color space transform nodes rather than doing anything specific with our project settings. Now we'll jump into our project settings initially, but our actual color management is going to happen on a node-based level within the project color page tab. Okay, so I tried to record this video before, but let's start a new project here called Color Management Node-Based. So Davinci Resolve opens up to its cut page. I'm going to jump over to the media page, and it'll show you on the top left here your computer files or your folders. So I have all the footage for the files that I want to work on here in Blackmagic Cinema Camera Holder 1. And 22222 is the folder that has the footage I want to look at right now. So I'm going to just Control-Alt to select all this footage and drag and drop it into my media pool. I might do a different video later about other ways to use this media page, but you can scrub your footage here before you bring it into your media pool. And then once it's in your media pool, you can actually organize this like by name. You can add keywords, you can color code everything. So the media page is really powerful, definitely deserves its own video. For now, I'm going to jump over to the edit page, which is what I use as the main timeline. Okay, so here we are on the edit page and my media pool is on the left. I'm going to grab all of my footage with Control-A. Again, drag and drop it onto my timeline. And if you can't see your footage here, make sure you have the media pool checked so that you can see what's on there. Actually, I'll close my media pool now that I don't need that. And we can resize things a little bit. So there's my footage. And I think I like the second clip for a reference point. That looks kind of cool. And this is BRAW. So we can tell that the footage here doesn't have any color to it like it's supposed to. And I did skip a very important step. So we'll go into our project settings here. And timeline resolution and frame rate are the first things that you're going to want to set to make sure that matches. And I'm not concerned about that for this video. Here we have it set to 4K, 24 frames per second. This is actually 6K. I believe it's 24 frames per second. But like I said, not worried about that. I'm focused on color management. So here, color science, we're going to use Davinci YRGB, use separate color space and gamma. And I'm going to change my color space to Davinci wide gamut and my gamma to Davinci intermediate. So that's the timeline color space. I'm going to work on my project in Davinci's wide gamut with Davinci intermediate gamma. We can go into that later, or I can go into that later. That's kind of, I would say this is one of those details that doesn't really matter. That's a good working color space, and we're going to use it. Okay, my output color space is going to be Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. Now, this is just a current standard for web and broadcast television distribution. Everything is Rec 709 Gamma 2.4. If you were going to deliver something to a theater, for example, you might go like DCI P3. And these D60, D65, DCI, these are different, basically color temperatures or white points. So P3 D60 is going to have a 6,000 Kelvin color temperature white point. P3 D65, which is what you should probably use if you're distributing to stuff that would be viewed on a computer, has a 6,500 Kelvin white point, which is the same as most computer monitors. And then P3 DCI has a 6,300 white point, and that's typically if you're going to be using like a projector. And then the gamma equivalent to that, I think, is like 2.6. So that's kind of a little aside, but we're going to be working in Davinci wide gamut, Davinci intermediate, output color space Rec 709, gamma 2.4. So go ahead and click save. Ignore these. Nothing changes to the footage because all we did there was change what color space and gamut our timeline here is working in. And the reason we do this is because some of the tools that we're using to adjust like our exposure and our colors are color space aware. So the tools will behave differently depending on what settings we choose for the color space and gamma. Okay, so now that we've got our project set, our footage is on our timeline, we can jump over to the color tab. And this is where it gets fun. We're going to start building our node tree. So you can see this color tab or color page starts off with just one node open here. And for the basic foundation of what I want to do here, it's going to be a 2-node tree, and we're going to make all of our adjustments in between those 2 nodes. So we can right click here, add a node, a corrector, and then you can drag and drop it in here. Okay, that works. That was kind of hard. Let's undo that. I could also do Alt S to add a serial node, and that's pretty handy. Then if you have like a Davinci Resolve color panel, there's an actual node, a button to add node. There's different types of nodes as well. You could be adding serial nodes or parallel nodes, but we'll get to that in a different topic. So now that we have our nodes on, we're going to grab our effect, which is color space transform, and we're going to drag it onto the first node, and we're also going to drag that onto the last node. And to keep things organized, we're going to go ahead and name these. So node label, I want to call this CST, node label, CST in. And for this one, we're going to do the node label CST out. So I'm color transforming in and color transforming out of Davinci Wide Gamut. So since my footage was shot in Blackmagic B-Raw, I want to take my B-Raw, turn that into Davinci Wide Gamut, work on it, and then I want to take it from Davinci Wide Gamut and export that as Rec. 709. So let's go ahead and check our settings here. So our input color space and input gamma on our CST in, our first node here, is going to be the footage that we shot. So I know that's Blackmagic. And let me scroll down here. Blackmagic Wide Gamut, Gen 4.5. And the input gamma was Blackmagic Film Gen 5. Okay, we see our first change. Now our output color space, like we've already talked about, is going to be Davinci Wide Gamut. And our output gamma, Davinci Intermediate. Now, since we're going into Davinci Intermediate, Davinci Wide Gamut, we don't need any tone mapping or any gamut mapping. This is kind of important here. Now let's jump over to our CST out. Now we know that we just transformed this into Davinci Wide Gamut, Davinci Intermediate. So the first part of this is really easy. And our output color space, we know we're going to web or TV, so it's going to be Rec. 709, Gamma 2.4. And look at that. Now, if I deactivate these and activate them, you can see that my footage is changing. And that's actually what we want. Great. Now, how can I know that this is right? Let's go ahead and deactivate these. Let's go over into my RAW tab, decode using the clip settings, and apply the LUT. Let's go ahead and grab a still. And let's turn that back off. Okay, so here's our still. Okay, so now I've got these guys on with the color space transform, and now I have it on with the LUT. So you can see we're doing the same thing with our color space transforms that we are with the embedded Blackmagic LUT that is included with the camera with Blackmagic RAW. But we don't like using a LUT. We want to take the control into our own hands. So now I know that I've got this color managed within nodes. And so now if I want to make any adjustments in between these nodes, this is when, let's say we can add these nodes here, go over to our primaries. Let's say, hey, this should be brighter. That looks good, but now my highlights are too bright. So I'm going to take those down a little bit. And maybe I want a little more shadow in there. Okay, so there's a basic exposure adjustment on our first node. Maybe our second node, we want to add some saturation. Let's just overdo it to make it, wow, really vibrant. Looks terrible, right? I would never make that adjustment, but this is just for showing you kind of my process here. And then this third one, maybe this would be your balance. And so maybe this image, you want to take it more warm. Okay, that might be interesting. So that's how you would make your adjustments to your footage in Davinci Wide Gamut, Davinci Intermediate, and you're exporting this to Rec. 709.